Good morning, Facebook. It is, no. Good morning, YouTube. This is Marita, and as you see, I'm at work, so you know what today's going to be. So it is 6:40 in the morning. I need to go and clock in. Once I get in and get my assignment, I'll be back to tell you what my day's going to be like. Until then. This was a breakfast for champions. I simply had bacon and fruit. That's all they had. That was good. So here's our board. I'm looking over the new policies that we have in place. New IV push policies, the blood admin policies, things like that. So our break room. All right, so I am back. I just wanted to come and tell you basically what's transpired since I clocked in. I'm in an empty patient room right now, as you can see. But I have 4 patients, and I think 2 C-sections and 2 vaginal deliveries. So funny story. So when I come in, I had a patient who we was doing bedside shift report, and she wanted to know specifically. She told me, she said, go ahead and bring me my narcotic, Norco, basically at 8:30. And it was 7 o'clock at the time, and I said, I'm sorry, but you'll have to call for it. So she got mad at me because I refused to bring it. I'm not gonna bring something that is not scheduled. That is our policy. And I explained that to her. So even though the nurse has been doing that the entire night, I told her that's our policy, and I wouldn't be bringing it till 8:30, or call me at 8:30 and I'll bring your medication. Don't you know, as soon as I walked out the room, the call light goes off, and they answer the call light. And so I had been fired from her room because of the fact that she wanted her medication. She wanted me to bring it at 8:30 because everybody else had been doing so. So be mindful that, you know, that's not our policy, and I follow policies here. I don't care what the previous nurse just did all night long. I'm gonna follow the policy. So I got fired from her room. This is not the first time, won't be the last time that I got fired from the patient's room because of the fact that they want something that they cannot have. That's not how the policies work. So always make sure that you follow the policy, because no one will back you up if you do not follow the policy. You can use that if something were to be filed against me, which nothing will. You know, like I said, she has a new nurse and she's happy, and so it's fine, and I'm happy because I'm not going to deal with nobody's attitude just because of the fact that I'm not going to give you no medication just because you say you want it. In an hour and a half, if it had been, say, 10 minutes, then I may have said, okay, I'll bring it back in 10 minutes. But a whole hour and a half, you have to call me an hour and a half later if you really want that medication. And so she had an attitude, and anyway, it is what it is. So I do have, again, like I said, 4 patients, 2 vag, 2 C-section. I've already seen 1 because she's going to NICU to see her baby. You saw my breakfast. It was a, you know, breakfast for champions, some bacon and some fruit, but you saw the cafeteria food. It wasn't that great, so it is what it is. I'll be back later today. It's currently, let's see, about 8:05 in the morning, so I will check back in with you a little later. All right, so now I'm at the Pyxis about to get my medications out to pass to my patients so we can get this day started. Here, I'm about to get some Colace out for my patients. All our patients get Colace in the morning and in the afternoon. And so I'm putting them in the cup. My medicine cups, I usually line them all up for each patient. And now I am about to get some Rogam for one of my patients. She was in need of Rogam, so I'm getting out the fridge. And I'm going to get ready to administer my meds. All right, I have all my medications, and now it's time for my morning med pass. All right, so I am back. I'm about to actually administer a Rogam injection. Let me get by the sun, so the window, so you can see me. So real quick, I want to tell you how this works. I'm about to give this, which is Rogam. So in my situation, my patient is, what was she? A negative, and baby is A positive. So anytime mom is negative, we test baby. And so, you know, A, B, or O negative, we test baby. In this case, baby was positive, so therefore she gets Rogam. So I'm about to go administer this to my patient right now. I just wanted to stop in and just kind of give you a little tidbit about why we do it. It has to be administered within 72 hours of delivery. So she is delivery day 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this administered so we can get this over with and she can go about her day. Just want to stop and give you that tidbit. See you later. All right, so it is 10:38, 10, something like that. And I come to give you an update basically on my day. So I've already assessed all 4 patients. I've actually did my charting for all 4 patients. And I can't complain. Today's actually being a good day. Now, this morning, like I told you, I got, fired from that patient's room. And it is what it is. So I want you all to know that this is what happens, and, you just have to let it roll off your shoulders. It doesn't really bother me at all that I got fired. But we had another one, a patient of mine, who she had threatened to leave AMA last night. And so they gave her to me because they know I don't take no mess. And so they just wanted me to have the more difficult patient, which is fine. But with her, I haven't had any issues with her at all. So sometimes you come in and they'll tell you, oh, this is a great patient. And sometimes your personalities don't, sometimes your personalities clash and you don't get along for whatever reason. And then with me and this one, she's just fine. I got to take her IV out in the next 10 minutes. I promised her I'd take her IV out, and she's a smoker, but we have a policy here that you cannot smoke. You cannot go off the floor to smoke. And I told her that, and she's like, well, I'm going to go smoke anyway. I said, well, I can't give you any narcotics if you go off the floor to smoke. So the choice was still up to her, but I refused as a nurse to give her narcotics to be off the floor smoking. So our compromise was, I said, I'll get you a nicotine patch. I'll see about ordering you a nicotine patch. And she was like, oh, could you do that for me? That would be great. She said, I need my pain medication. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So that's kind of where we are at this point where, let's see, that's our compromise, and she's okay with that. And then I was supposed to get a C-section today, an admission. We're supposed to have 11:30 C-section, but they canceled the C-section. So right now all I have is 4 patients, and nothing's really going on at the moment. We have 2 people who are laboring. One is at 6 centimeters, one is at 0 still. So we're just waiting, and I can't complain today. So I'm actually in a good mood despite everything. We cool. So anyway, I just want to give you the update. As the day goes on, I will check back in. It is now 2:45. I'm coming for an update. I'm about to get a patient here in the next, I want to say, hour or so. And per usual, I'm about to set this room up. And if you watched the last video, you'll know it's pretty much the same format in terms of how I set a room up. So I'm going to show you real quick again if you didn't see the last video. All right, so you see the bed is gone. We've taken the bed out the room. We have our IV pump ready. We'll go ahead and take the plastic off. We put the plastic on to keep it clean, let everybody know that the pump is clean. Take it off. It's already been plugged up. I need to get a pulse ox monitor for my patients. I'm going to go get that. And as you see, the incidence parameter, we do have patient education folders now. So let me I'm going to set up this incidence parameter. I have it set up. I will instruct her how to use it once she gets here. I'm about to go ahead and set up the bathroom. As you can see here, the bathroom's clean. We're not going to put this in the toilet because I'm using it for her catheter. So I'll just set it there. I'm going to empty this bag. Open it. Get it ready. Basically all I need is those. Pretty much all I need. So we set that up. Also, let's see, what else do I need? In case she gets sick, we want to have one of these ready. So that's that. I'm about to go and right on the board. Today is the 5th. She's going to be discharged probably on the 8th. And Her diet is clear. We want her to rest. And then I will circle the nursery number and underline where she can get her food. I will talk to her about her pain later when she gets here. And that's pretty much it. Just need to get the ice water and then the room will be set up besides that in the pulse ox. I'm back, so update. One of the other nurses actually got rid of 2 of her patients, so she's down to 2 patients altogether. And so I still have the 4 from this morning. So instead of me getting an extra patient, she's gonna take that one. And I'll get the next delivery, which is the vaginal delivery after the fact. So even though I set up that room for her already, I did all the preliminary charting for her to get prepared for her to transfer over. I'm not getting her as a patient, so I'm handing her off to another nurse. But today has been a productive day. I can't complain at all. It is now 3:15 in the afternoon. And honestly, this is one of the best days that I've ever had in the past, say, 3 months. And I want to feel like that a lot of it has to do with the chemistry or the energy that you have with the nurses that you work with. There's this one nurse, and I guess you know that from the previous videos, that when I work with her, it is just absolutely terrible. It's just, her energy is so negative and it's basically a bad thing. Here, the nurses I'm working with today, they're wonderful. They can hold their own. They don't spaz out about anything. And we really help each other out and feed off of each other. Just like just now, she's like, Marita, you have 4 patients. I only have 2. I'm going to go ahead and take this next C-section, even though you said you was going to take her earlier today. I mean, I appreciate that. That's how teamwork's supposed to work. So I don't mind working with these nurses that I work with today. So today's really, really, really a great day. I will come back around towards the end of the shift to kind of give you an update. And then we will clock out and see what happens. All right, see you later. I just want to show you in the bathroom. This is where they put their notices for meetings at, because they know the one place you're gonna come, so they'll put all our notes in the bathroom. That way we'll know while you're using the restroom, you have a mandatory meeting next week. It is now 1600 and it's time for me to set up a room. Like I told you before, I got rid of that patient, but I'm getting a vaginal delivery, so I'm going to show you how to set that room up. It's not much different than the C-section, but I'll show you. As I told you before, we have the SVD buckets at the top, C-section buckets on the bottom. So I'm going to grab the SVD bucket. It has everything that I need in it already. So I'm just going to take this. And last time I showed you, we didn't have any baby folders. We do now, so I'm going to grab a folder and go set the room up. All right, I am in the process of getting this bed ready for her. So, let's see, I'm just gonna take this disposable chucks and put it on top of the other chucks. So the bed is ready. All I need to do now is lift the rail, lower the bed, set the head of the bed up. I'm gonna come over here and lift the other rail for safety. Oops. Just do that. So the bed is ready, board is ready. Have her ice water, have her folder, call light, always put in the bed within reach, so they'll always have it. And the room is pretty much set up. So now I'm just waiting on my patient to come. I need to take out some of this equipment because we don't need it all. Like that pump, I don't need that. So I'll go ahead and take some of this stuff out. Show you the view from her room. That's what it looks like from her room. There's an interstate right there. You see the large trucks going by on the interstate. All right, so I think I am ready to receive my new patient. I'll check back soon. All right, so it is now the end of my day. It is 18:40 in the afternoon. My shift is almost over. I have about 5 minutes until shift change, and it's been a productive day. I did have an admission about 16:30 or 16:51. I had an admission, vaginal delivery. Got her assessed and got her charted and everything like that. She's fine. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. I will talk to you more in the car. We'll talk about the car chronicles when we talk about a recap of my day and just kind of things that I wanted to kind of talk about regarding nursing in general and things that I've endured today. But it's been a great day overall. Can't complain. See you in the car. It is time to go home. I'm excited about that. So let's go ahead and clock out and we'll talk in the car. All right, so I am back. I'm in my car and it is 7:24 or 19:24, and I am off. You can see the building in the back right there. So I'm basically gonna recap my day. I'm not gonna go through the whole day, but I wanted to tell you the elements in which I really couldn't do while I was actually on the floor. So today we had a total of 13 patients. Initially when I came on shift, we had 3 nurses. I had 4 patients, and somebody else had 4 patients, and somebody else had 5 patients. I was supposed to get the first admission today, but when it all came down to it, we had about 2 or 3 discharges, and so it left me with 4 patients still, and the other nurses had like 2 patients. So instead of me getting the first admission, which was the C-section, the nurse was kind enough to say, you know what, I'll go ahead and take that because I only have 2 patients anyway. You can take the next one, which I did not mind. So I took the last admission, which was a vaginal delivery, like I told you. And when I'm working with this particular nurse or these particular nurses, it makes for a great day. So I just want to tell you, it's really contingent upon not just your acuity level with your patients, but it also is contingent upon, for instance, the nurses that you work with, because the energy that you feed up on, off of, something like that, off of. And so we have good energy together. So when you're picking your schedule, if you're allowed to self-schedule, pick someone in which you know, if the schedule is open for that you know you get along with, that has, you know, good teamwork, good work ethic, because some nurses don't. And every time they don't, it brings about drama. And it's a Friday. So a Friday for us is usually very busy, and it was busy today, but it was not that bad because of the fact that we had great work ethic, basically. And teamwork. So we didn't have a division clerk, so that meant that our doors and our phones were ringing all day today. So it took a lot of time to stop and things like that. My last patient was positive for THC and meth. That's what it was. And again, drug abuse here in Tennessee is so prevalent that it's not even a big deal to me, in the sense that I'm used to it. I don't, you know, like, oh my gosh, you're taking drugs. I'm so used to it here. So we had to the nurse already made a DCS referral because of that. That's law here, that you have to make a DCS referral if you have a mom that tests positive, or baby that tests positive for drugs upon admission. And so that was done, and being the weekend is coming up, she won't be seen until Monday, but it is what it is. And that's just the nature of how it goes. So it was a good shift. I really can't complain. If you watch this video in its entirety and then go back and watch some of the other ones, you will see that I'm ranting and raving and carrying on because of the fact of the nurses that I'm working with. And this morning I was telling you that I got fired. So I got fired from this patient because, well, let me backtrack. So I came in on time, believe it or not. I was actually on time today. Got in about 6:44. Shift change 6:45, so I barely made it. It is what it is. So that's another thing. You have to have thick skin. It did not deter me for the rest of my day. I was not upset because I did the right thing. So, you know, sometimes some nurses, the nurse before me, the night shift, she would just take her medication. If she says she wanted her to bring it every 4 hours, even if it's not scheduled, which you cannot do, not on our floor anyway. She still did it. And so that's why I say, when you all do things, you're setting the next nurse up for failure, because of the fact that you just bring medications or do whatever the patient wants you to do, without regard to what the policies are. And when you have a nurse like me who's going to follow the policy, because at the end of the day, that's all I can do is follow the policy. That's all that's going to back me is the policy. Then you're called every name in the book and you get fired from your patients. So, no disciplinary action happened or whatever for me. But the thing is, just know patients are not going to like you, and you're going to have to be okay with it. And I'm perfectly okay with it, because I follow, our policies for our facility regarding medication administration, that are PRN meds. And so all the nurses backed me, so it wasn't an issue. We just changed patients and we called it, a day, and everything was great. We have another policy that on our floor, that if you have a visitor coming in, that they have to give your full name, your first and last name, and your room number to be let in. Otherwise, we can't let you in. And so, sure enough, I'm like 0 for 2 today, because this patient's family member got mad because, she didn't know the room number, and I told her she needed to call the patient and find out what the room number was so she could get in. That is our policy. I know it may sound silly or just kind of minute as to why I would do that, but that is our policy. So therefore, you have to know the patient's name and room number to be let in, because it's a secure unit because of those babies. So, if you're not going to be a policy follower, you're going to be in trouble, for one. If you're going to be a people pleaser, you're going to be in trouble as well, because the thing is, I hate the fact that nursing is so, or healthcare in general is so customer service oriented. We want to do everything for the patient, but then when it comes to breaking those policies and those rules, if you break them, then you're going to be in trouble. And so if you ever have to go to court, the first thing they're going to say is, but you have a policy in place that states X, Y, and Z. But in the meantime, you are trying to make a friend and not get reprimanded for that. You're going to be in trouble either way it goes. So my thing is, are you going to lose if it came down to it? Now, mind you, today, nothing came down to me losing my job. But if it came down to it, would you rather lose your job or lose your license? That's what you have to think about. And for me personally, I'll lose a job any day, but I will never lose my license. I will never let somebody help me lose my license or make me lose my license. So keep those things in mind. If I had broke that policy and said, sure, I'll bring it to you, and 8:30, and we go to court, and they're like, okay, so why does we found out that she bottomed out for this, that, and the other, and they found out there's a policy in place that says you cannot bring PRN medications unless they're called for at a certain time when they're available, and I'm just bringing it to her. This hospital is not going to back me up. This hospital is not going to back me up at all. So with that being said, I have to follow the policy to make sure that I'm doing what needs to be done and adhering to whatever needs to be in place to keep me and my patient safe. So that's basically, the thing with that. So, again, I'll let that roll off. I thought it was really funny that she fired me as a result of that, but it is what it is. You can't win everybody over. And then, like I was saying about the patient that I had, that was a what I call tough love patient, the one that this patient had threatened to leave AMA last night, and then they give her to me today, and me and her was cool the whole day. So sometimes you just don't gel with certain people, or sometimes people are in so much pain that they can't even focus on what you're saying, and they think that you're being judgmental or think you're being hateful or whatever happens to be. But me and her had a great day. I told her she could not go out and smoke, and I said, you cannot. I said, you're going to either smoke or you're going to pick your narcotics. Which one you want? I said, because you can't have both of them. And so when I laid down the law, I said, this is how it's going to be. Either you can go down and smoke, or you can have your narcotics, but you can't have both. She made a decision. She wanted her narcotics. So I'm like, that's what she got, and she was happy the rest of the day. I am not a people pleaser. I am not a people pleaser at all. I'm definitely a policy follower, within reason policy follower, because there's some policies in place and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. It's going to jeopardize my license or my patients or whatever. But and what we're talking about today regarding these kind of policies, I'm definitely a policy follower. If what you want fits within the realm of the policy, you can have it. I don't even care. But if not, then I'm following the policy, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to back me. No one's going to, even if my manager said, hey, go ahead and do X, Y, and Z, she's not going to back me if I have to go to court. She will say, no, the policy states X, Y, and Z to cover her ass.
So I got to cover mine. So therefore, I'm not going to do something because somebody tells me to do it just to be a people pleaser. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to keep my patients and myself safe. So anyway, I'm not going to make this any longer than it has to be. You all seem to really enjoy the vlogs for when I'm at work. As you know, because I am in I'm a nurse, and because of HIPAA, I can't show you names. I can't really give you detailed stories, but I gave you the gist of what happened today. It was a very good day. I can't complain, not really at all. That one situation with that one patient, it is what it is. She's, she got discharged today anyway, so it's great that she did. But anyway, that sums up my day. I'm PRN, so I don't come here often, but when I do come, I try to come and bring you all some knowledge, about, kind of what goes on in my OB world in the state of Tennessee. So anyway, if you want to see more videos like this, please thumbs this up. If you have questions or comments or concerns and want to know what goes on in OB nursing, I am an OB nurse. I'm a nurse educator. I do well baby. I do GYN surgeries. As you know, I'm a clinical instructor. And as you know, I'm also in school myself to be a doctoral prepared nurse, my DNP. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.